What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be breaking down some new set photos that reveal some very interesting stuff about later this season of The Flash. And yeah, guys, these photos were of course provided by Canadagraph, so make sure you guys go down in the description and check out his content. Now in our first photo we have this guy here, and he's presumably going to be a villain this season, or later in the season I should say. However, you know, I highly doubt he's going to look like this when he actually ends up appearing on screen. I'm assuming this is like some CGI suit or something like that. But, you know, it kind of has some similarities to Ray Palmer's Atom suit, I was thinking at first. And then the thought came to me, what if we're just being fooled? What if this is not a villain? This is very unlikely, but what if this is Cyborg? I think that would be so cool if they ended up bringing Cyborg into the Arrowverse. Of course, I think he would probably appear on The Flash as the first show at least. But yeah, if this was Cyborg, I think that would be really cool, but as I said before, very unlikely. But yeah, as always, make sure you guys comment your thoughts down below on who you think this could be. So this next photo I think is very, very interesting, one of the more interesting ones we've had recently, and this one somebody on set is holding a Flash comic. Now this Flash comic is actually a comic that deals with the Reverse Flash, like a lot. In this comic, Reverse Flash forms a quote-unquote Legion of Zoom. If you guys don't know, in the comics and, you know, in the animated films, they call Reverse Flash Professor Zoom. That's just, I don't know, that's just his name in the comics. So yeah, I guess in this Legion of Zoom, Reverse Flash leads like a bunch of classic Flash villains. It's sort of like the Legion of Doom, except, you know, with a lot more villains. So if they're planning on doing something like this on the show, I think that would be absolutely insane, and I'd really like to see what they, you know, how they would do it exactly. Now, I would also assume that if they're going to end up doing this, it would definitely be with Tom Cavanagh's version of the Reverse Flash. Of course, that version is locked up in prison, so how exactly would he escape? How exactly would he, you know, how exactly would he get his speed back? As I made a video on this before, he's probably got something up his sleeve. What I think is the most likely option here is that before he asked Barry for help, he made a time remnant that eventually went out to hide in the negative Speed Force, because as we found out in season 5, the negative Speed Force is immune to timeline changes unless like Crisis somehow changed that. But I'm going to assume that that is still how it goes, that the negative Speed Force is immune to timeline changes. So maybe while the original version of Thawne that was played by Tom Cavanagh is stuck in prison, the time remnant that he created is just hiding out in the negative Speed Force, just chilling. So yeah, another thing, if they're going to do this big event where, you know, Reverse Flash, he's going to end up, you know, somehow recruiting all these classic Flash villains to join the, I don't know, quote-unquote Legion of Zoom. They'll probably call it something else, obviously, because Reverse Flash has never been called Zoom on the show, unless, you know, they actually want to bring Zoom in. I think that'd be pretty cool. But anyways, if they're going to do this big event where Reverse Flash teams up with a bunch of classic Flash villains, I think this could be what sends off Tom Cavanagh's version of the Reverse Flash. This could be his final storyline on the show, and then I'm really hoping for, you know, the final season of The Flash, whenever that might be, season 9, season 10, we finally get Matt Letcher's version of Reverse Flash to return and be the main villain for the final season. I think that would be absolutely perfect. But yeah, with this Legion of Zoom storyline, there is so much opportunity to bring back some old villains that, you know, have maybe died or, you know, we haven't seen in a while. And one of those villains that I think should definitely return is Bloodwork. He was actually in the original Legion of Zoom comic, so maybe this is how they finally bring him back. You know, the characters in the Legion of Zoom comic don't have to be the exact same on the show, so they could, you know, they could bring Godspeed into this. They could, you know, do a ton of other villains that have appeared on the show, maybe like even, I don't know, Savitar. That could be pretty interesting. But yeah, maybe how this storyline will start is maybe we go to Argus prison. We see that Reverse Flash is locked up. As I said before in multiple other videos, there are other characters that are locked up in Argus as well, such as Bloodwork and Godspeed. So maybe Godspeed, Bloodwork, and the Reverse Flash all end up escaping from Argus. I think that would be a really cool storyline that could get this Legion of Zoom stuff started. And yeah, seeing all those characters return, as I said before, would be great. So yeah, those main villains returning would be cool, but also, of course, we want to see those classic Flash villains return, like Grodd, Captain Cold. Maybe we could do some time traveling in this storyline to, you know, get those characters to come back as villains, because those two villains are no longer villains. One of them's dead, and when he was alive, at the end of his life, he was not really a villain at all. Captain Cold, he was actually more of a hero than a villain at that time. And then, of course, Grodd, he just sort of turned not not evil anymore after Christ on Infinite Earths, which, you know, I don't really think is that interesting. I don't think that's the right move. I think Grodd should always be a villain. So yeah, I think if they actually returned and became villains, that would just be awesome. But yeah, with this, you also got to think, you know, it's not exactly going to be like the comic books, at least I would assume. Of course, Crisis on Infinite Earths had a lot of similarities to the comics, but at the same time wasn't really anywhere near what it was like in the comics. So yeah, the same thing could definitely be shown here. But yeah, this would be absolutely crazy if it ends up happening. These set photos, by the way, are from episode 14 of Season 8, just so you guys are aware of that. But yeah, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, and I'll see you in the next video.